To be honest with you, I wasn't expecting to do this game in this marathon of Mario videos, despite the name being called Super Mario World 2, as this doesn't play like a traditional Mario game, but you're in control of Yoshi throughout the adventure. Now there are other Yoshi games based on the NES, like Yoshi's Cookie and, well, Yoshi, and there are other Yoshi games in a similar formula, which is based on this game. Though I never played them myself, but this game technically is my first time. Well, what I'm looking at today, story-wise, is a prequel before Mario became a hero of the Mushroom Kingdom. But this time we actually have to travel with him as a baby throughout the adventure. So what's going on here? Why all of the change all of a sudden?
So the creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, asked the guy who designed Yoshi, Shinji Hino, to develop a Mario game. Yes, it's this guy you have to thank for designing this cute green dinosaur. Also for Pikmin fans out there, as he is the director of the series and I heard good things about it. Anyway, Hino have felt that the Mario team have explored every possibility for 2D Mario action. As the team were already focused on the upcoming 3D game in Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64, so they want to make this game to be the Super Nintendo swansong. So Hino landed on the idea that Yoshi will be the main protagonist and to make a goal to make the game more accessible than any other Mario game released. I don't think the intention was to make it like Sesame Street of accessibility, but to give players a fair enough challenge to jump in. I don't necessarily agree with that kind of decision, but Super Mario World did a good enough job to get players into the Mario series. But I guess since the main focus is on Yoshi, maybe the grand idea to also sell more plush for the guy. Anyway, they use this new foundation with the asset of another game they are developed believed to be called Super Donkey. And it's never clear that if it is going to be another Donkey Kong game since we already have the Donkey Kong Country series out at that time. From what I've researched, the conception of Yoshi's Island began as soon as after Super Mario World came out in Japan, so we're talking of almost a 5-year gap. So I assume that they were making a Donkey Kong game until Nintendo decides to pass the project on to Rare. So Nintendo decided to use Super Donkey assets to make this game. So production began in 1992. So this game is directed by 4 people with Hino, then once again with series veteran Takashi Tezuka, then for the first time since Ice Hockey on the NES, Hideki Kono, and finally for the only time Toshihiko Nakago, as I have no clue if he worked on any other projects after that, as Miyamoto once again as producer for this game. So similar to how Nintendo wants to do with the Donkey Kong Country in terms of graphics to make the game a bit more ambitious, so a newly hired Hasashi Nogami, while working on the Super Donkey project, he wanted to create a more unique marker-drawn style, making it look like it was done hand-drawn. I have to say, even it looked simplistic for others, but I think this looks maybe just as impressive as the Donkey Kong Country games looked. Even considering what this game was marketing for, I wonder how difficult it was to implement this kind of style into the game. Everything sticks out and my eyes were always on Yoshi thanks to its borderlines. The game also has the use of the Super FX chip, which was used by the other Super Nintendo games like Star Fox to make use of 3D graphics. But this also is the first and only game to use the Super FX2 microchip developed by the same company that made Star Fox in Argonaut Games. It was only used for the background walls, different dynamic rotation for the platforms, and even certain enemies as you can tell with their movement, which is also quite impressive. Even with these new opening cutscenes, as a lone stork carrying contains 2 babies, so out of nowhere, Kamek manages to kidnap only one baby as the other has fallen a few thousand feet in the air and somehow landed safely on a wandering Yoshi's back. Must be one of the most safest backs in the world, especially for a baby. After realizing that he only has one baby, Kamek sends out his minions to find baby Mario on Yoshi's Island. Meanwhile, the Yoshi returns the other Yoshis with the baby, wondering what to do with him, and then notice that baby Mario is pointing the direction as the bond between the brothers are so strong. So one Yoshi decides to head out to reunite the 2 babies by going through 6 worlds and not as the usual 8. After completing each level, Baby Mario would be passed on to a different coloured Yoshi because I guess the other one wants a timeout until each world's last fortress levels. So you're in control of Yoshi, going through each world carrying Baby Mario to reunite with his brother and the Stork. After the game came out, it was received with overwhelming reception, calling it a worthy sequel to the Super Mario World, sort of, and one of the best platformers of all time, making it worthy to end the Super Nintendo's life cycle by selling over 4 million copies.
So I'm really looking forward to what I'm missing out here, and this is one of my bucket lists. Since we can consider this a Mario game, I gotta look at it. I won't spend too much time on the Game Boy Advance version since it's technically the same game, besides the obvious difference with the graphics being washed out and of course the music taking a hit. And so, let's take a look at Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island.
So Yoshi does not control like a traditional Mario game. First off, this game doesn't have a run button, so Yoshi controls fluidly the longer you move him in one direction, and the game controls really well overall. It's not as tight as Super Mario World, so Yoshi pretty much has a bit of momentum with how he controls. Whenever I die, mainly in bottomless pits, spikes and the occasional lava, was more my fault if anything. Dumbass! So Yoshi has Baby Mario on his back at all times. When you get hit, Baby Mario would then fall off Yoshi, then trapped in this bubble and you're under a time limit, so you have to be fast to get him back. If not, the Kamek minions then takes him away and you're down one life. Yoshi can take as many hits as he wants, so you don't have to worry about power-ups to keep yourself alive. Yoshi can do a flutter jump after jumping, and you can get extra airtime when you're trying to position yourself on platforms. Like Super Mario World, Yoshi can use his long tongue to eat up enemies, but this time you can shoot out multiple eggs by pressing down on the D-pad and use them as weapons. Jeez, Yoshis are more dangerous than we realise. Anyway, you can only carry as much as 6, then you can throw these eggs with a push of a button. A cursor will aim the target for you with Patient automatically by pushing the button once you hold down to cancel, or with Hasty you can hold down the button and let go when you don't want to aim anymore. I personally prefer the Patient option as I hate the idea of multitasking with the buttons with my fingers. Anyway, you can throw the eggs at enemies and also these question mark clouds that spills the little stars to refill the counter for Baby Mario, reveal hidden staircases or a bridge, and sometimes the flower, which are collectible for 100%, which I will get to later on. You can also ricochet the eggs off walls and clearly hit certain collectibles and enemies so you don't have to be precise with it. You also have a ground stomp which you push down after jumping, which is very useful for dealing with certain enemies and very rare puzzles this game offers. So yeah, you can say Yoshi has a lot more utility than what Mario can do. And where was all this shit back on Super Mario World? Must be a faker. So I mentioned that Yoshi don't rely on power-ups to survive. Now, there are power-ups in this, but they are more situational than before, and about as basic as you can get. Once you come across a power-up containing a bubble, Yoshi would then begin to transform into any form. Then after that, they become temporary until the game decides that's enough. And then once you didn't make it to the Yoshi box, you are then sent all the way back to where you started when you first grabbed that power-up. Their purpose is mainly used for collecting collectibles for 100% completion. The main thing I didn't like about them is that when you get hit, it takes you a good couple of seconds to get back up again, causing it to waste even more time till the timer of the power-up runs out, which can get pretty annoying and especially an extra 5 stage. First we have the helicopter, which lets you fly across and can't do anything else. Then we have a mole where it can dig through dirt, mainly for collecting coins. This feels very awkward to control, especially when turning in other direction. It feels like a 2D tank and not instant. You have to play this to understand what I'm talking about, just how awkward it feels. Next is the submarine. Because Yoshi can't swim in this game, this feels pretty sluggish when moving, even turning, and it can also shoot homing missiles, which helps. Finally, we have a locomotive, which rides on these tracks to ride to find the right path on the other side. It does have a dash button to get by faster, but I wish it was a little faster, so I just want to get a move on. And there is also this car vehicle which you can only use, I think, only once, which you can stretch out his legs like the car from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So yeah, nothing special.
I'm getting too old for this!
So like I said, there is only a handful of times where you need to use them to progress through the stage, and their main purpose is for collectibles for 100%. I should talk about the main stuff in the game. I mean, it's great. Not only does it play in a traditional sense, but it also have different ways of progress through the stage by either going left to right or by going through a maze and in an underground, and by climbing through intense platforming while hovering above bottomless pits. It may not be like any traditional Mario game, but thanks to Yoshi's versatility, makes it not only fresh, but interesting. You could be pushing boulders to give you either extra height to progress, with the power-up like I mentioned earlier. The auto-scroller levels are back, which as you know I'm not a fan of to begin with, but thankfully there is only a handful of them. Or run for your life from a... Whoa! Go, 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 go! Yeah, get a proper dentistry, you fuckball! So yeah, in this game, in each world have 3 regular levels twice, and go through a fortress level twice. You run into returning enemies like Shy Guys, piranha plants that don't come out of the pipes this time around, but can come out of grass. I mean, they are all over the place in a few levels, though you don't have to run into regular Mario enemies such as Goombas and Koopa Troopas until the second world. Most enemies in this game are actually new, though there are some that are more annoying than others, like Bandit that takes Baby Mario right out of your hands as soon as you touch one, and then you have to chase them down to steal him back again. Even other variations have baseball bats and gloves, throw eggs at you in the most awkward situation when hovering above bottomless pits, but you can jump on them to collect them as eggs on your own, and just give them the taste of their own medicine. Other memorable ones are like Gusties that fly across left and right, and I'm sorry for giving you mental images, but they look like flying condoms.
I am so sorry.
A lot of enemies you encounter are monkeys called grinders that throw a lot of shit at you and drop bombs and spit out melon seeds. And in stages like Monkey Madness, oh boy. In a few levels you can collect a key to unlock hidden doors to play these variety of minigames with one of the bandits, where you can score an item or an extra life. These are okay, nothing spectacular, but I have no idea how you win this blow up balloon since you have to wait for the balloon to be full. But how can I tell? I swear this is pure luck. Fuck! The fortress levels are among my favourite levels in the game, offering different challenges that offers, sometimes pretty intense with platforming, by riding these rotating platforms above instant kill spikes. Also, whatever enemies that wants to fuck over Yoshi. There's even some interesting, I guess you can say, puzzle elements of how you progress, like throwing eggs on these question mark clouds in order to get to the door, to get to the next area. Though some areas where you have to get past these piranha plants that takes multiple hits to kill, which can get pretty tedious, especially when you run out of eggs and need to refill. But it doesn't get any more interesting than the boss fights at the end of each fortress. There may not be someone's kids to take down, but instead you face a few larger size of enemies you face throughout the adventure, and have very unique ways to defeat, like hitting them a few times with your eggs, or even pushing this pod while everyone else is on the other side doing a totally miserable job. Though I will admit, it is a little bit lazy with enemy choices for these bosses, but at the same time, they do have different means of defeating them. Like this giant Koopa Trooper, you need to throw eggs at his head to make him fall backwards on his head and then ground pound him on his stomach. That's such an ingenious idea. The most bizarre one is where he was eaten by this frog and you have to take it out by throwing eggs at his tonsil. Afterwards, you've just been shat out. There is no other way of describing this. And Yoshi's face really says it all. Wonder what Mario makes of it all. This one looks like the most painful. Oh, right in the gonads! There are also bonus games where you can score a bunch of extra lives and items to help you on your journey to refill your item management, which is a lot larger than previous games. Well, maybe not as much as Mario 3, but still a lot. Like these Wing Cloud Maker that turns enemies into these question mark clouds. Do they want me to waste my eggs? Then we have different melon flavors, which are your power-up essentially in this game. Like the green ones that shoot seeds like a machine gun. Yoshi's packing heat! The red ones that shoots out fire, which is the closest thing you're going to get to a fire flower in this game. Then you have the blue ones, which is an ice breath that freezes enemies, which, to be honest, isn't as cool as it looks. Pardon the pun there. Anyway, we have a PAL block returning from Mario Brothers Arcade. That's pretty much a screen nuke. The egg refills like I mentioned earlier. And finally the star points that refills your star counter that really helps you 100%. Well, I guess I better talk about this now, huh? Okay, so Yoshi's Island is like two different games. One is a pretty cozy ride going through levels with obstacles and getting Baby Mario safely to the end. But on the other hand, by doing that and do another collectathon while also don't get hit too much. So in each levels, there are 20 red coins to collect, 5 flower coins, and finally the star bits hidden inside these clouds after throwing eggs at it. Collecting all these gives you a count for 100% score. 100% in completing each world unlocks an extra level from the world or a bonus game that you are in. You can try again as many times as you want for life grind or an item you want. Now, you don't have to fully complete the game for the best ending or anything like that. You're only just given extra stars on the title screen just to say you did it, but when you do go for 100%, it's a whole different beast. Okay, where do I start? Alright, let's start with the flower coins. Now, they're not that bad. You can either find them in the open for you to collect no problem, though some of them give you a little challenge of how to collect them, like where you toss eggs off walls on ceiling, and the same goes for the red coins. Speaking of red coins, they're a little more complicated. Now, they don't look that much different from the regular coins, but if you look close enough, you do see a little red tint so you tell the difference. However, in the GBA version of the game, the red coins just clash with the regular coins, and they do this just to get you to use the item of the magnifying glass item that reveals the red coins and winged clouds, but I'm sure players that play this game all the time don't need this. However, you're going to be finding more red coins than flower coins, so what it means is that you have to comb every area in the level and make sure you got every last one, and making sure that you didn't miss one coin. So as soon as you arrive at the end, as soon as you hit pause and that you're missing only one red coin and immediately went... So that means you have to play the stage all over again to find what you've missed, or as everyone does nowadays, to look up a guide. God, shit like this makes me fume. That as soon as you think that you got everything, then all of a sudden the game said, nope, you didn't, now try again. Oh, it's even worse when you have to deal with Shy Guys that carries the red coins. As soon as you see one, make sure you take care of him immediately, otherwise he'll just fly away and it's an automatic fail and you have to try the stage all over again. Now get in my belly, you fuck. Oh, so delicious. Though it does have a unique sound cue that lets you know that you got all the red coins. And there you go. Finally, the star bits. Now, the whole point of this is to keep your timer gauge up for as long as you can keep Baby Mario on your back. So you see where this is going. So as soon as you get hit, not only with Baby Mario off your back, the count starts counting down. So what this means is that you can't get hit at all. You have to play through each level collecting flower coins, red coins, collecting star bits to refill your count, while getting hit plenty of times and not consistently listen to Baby Mario crying. That does get irritating after a while.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Though you are given plenty of opportunities to refill the star bits through the star ring checkpoints and inside these hidden clouds. So take my advice, go to a bonus game to get the star bit refill item and use it at the end of the level when you're not full up, so you should get by these stages pretty comfortably. Anyway, once you fully complete a world, you get to play extra stage in that world, which are more challenging than the regular levels. At the same time, each of these have different variety of challenges that offers some are for better and worse. As I mentioned before, Monkey Madness is a level I despise, mainly because of how obnoxious the stage gets with enemy placement, so you just keep getting hit back and forth all over the place. That leads falling into a bottomless pit. Oh, and you have to collect flower coins, red coins, and star bits in these stages, even in Monkey Madness? Anyway, what do you say we get your brother back, huh? The last castle is almost like the last castle in the last Super Mario World, except it's random of what 4 doors you go to. After that, you are stalked by Kamek, though he disappears every time you get close to him, so you should stop him from spamming his spells. After that, we arrived in Bowser's room, or Baby Bowser. So Bowser was feeling cranky from gets mad at Kamek for disturbing his sleep. I mean, I don't blame him, as I also love sleep. So Bowser then crushes up Kamek and takes full attention to our heroes. After giving him a couple butt-stomping shockwaves, Kamek then has the last resort to make Bowser grow like a Power Rangers monster, only... Holy moly! Now that's the most intimidating Bowser I've seen since Bowser's Fury from 3D World. And how did we travel this far? Anyway, you have Bowser coming towards you throughout the fight. You're given these giant eggs to then throw them back at Bowser, as long as you hit his nose until he takes a few steps back. So you're pretty much facing towards Bowser the entire fight, so you don't have to hold up to aim towards him or anything like that. Though aiming feels really weird. The aim is still automatic, and sometimes when you throw it, it either undershoots or overshoots. And I have no idea how this works. Is it a wind-up? So after hitting enough times, the last couple of hits is when Bowser will starts fully charged towards your ass, and you better make sure your last shot counts. Come on.
Nope.
No! Hey, maybe I can get a little nice toy to play with and not me? So after giving him one last blow to the nose, Baby Bowser is back to normal with Kamek flew away with him. We rescue the stork along with baby Luigi, so the stork has taken 2 babies to deliver them to their parents and left them on the front door.
Hey honey, our baby's here! He looks just like your boss.
And thus our heroes are born. Now I really enjoy this game. Everything is a pretty smooth and cozy ride. I love the variety of things you can do of how you go about with Yoshi's abilities. Very solid level design, the bosses are the highlight for me, as they offer different ways of defeating them besides doing the usual. Now the only thing that annoys me are going for 100%, but like I said, you don't have to do it. It's only there just to say you did it. Just play the game as normal and you'll be just fine.
Yoshi's Island is a high recommendation, not as a Mario game, but as a video game in general. Now this game would then go on and inspire other Yoshi games like Yoshi's Story for the Nintendo 64, and also for the Game Boy Advance, the Nintendo DS, and Nintendo 3DS. I will go into those in a later time, unless it's for popular demand, but I will go into those in a much later time. But until then, I still got other games to look at. Next time when I return to the Super Mario series of videos, I'm going to be shifting gears a bit where it's not actually on home consoles, but an actual handheld consoles on the small grey brick of the old Game Boy. And yes, I'll be looking at the Super Mario Land series. Now, I'll be looking at Super Mario Land 1 and 2, but I'm kind of 50-50 on doing 3, since it's technically not a Mario game, but rather starring Wario. It's technically like the first Wario Land game, so I'm not sure whether I should consider that as a Mario game. Though, if Yoshi's Island is an excuse for me to look at this game, despite Nintendo unapologetically put Super Mario World 2 on there just to push units, and yet they put Super Mario Land 3 on the title for Wario Land, so maybe I should consider it, but I don't know. I'll just yet to decide, unless you want to decide for me. But with all that said, what do you think of Yoshi's Island? Did you grow up with it, or do you grow up with it more recently, like playing it on the Nintendo Switch online, or an emulator, or any kind like that? So you let me know down in the comments below. If you even enjoy this video, hit that like button and share it with your friends, family, or even your friends that even have those Yoshi plushies. Seriously, they are doing a good job here. Be sure to check out my other videos of game reviews that I've done. Or if you like those, hit that subscribe button. What are you waiting for? If you like those, then check out my other series of videos, like my Jacko showcase video, where I showcase Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, and I've got other plans to do for these series of videos. You can also catch me up doing live streams, and I am currently doing a playthrough of Resident Evil 4 for the celebration of the release of Resident Evil Requiem. So with all that said, I will see you next time, and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later.